Welcome back to the What It Takes Radio Company, and it's Friday, and today we enter the transformation project, the transformation zone. And we ask, we are now 20 minutes closer to being dead. So what should we do now? Greetings once again, ladies and gentlemen. This is Stan, the Radio Man. Maybe sometimes Stan, the transformation man. I would like that to be said of me, that I've changed, maybe changed a lot, and for the better. And this is a Friday, and Friday is when we try to at least celebrate, commemorate, challenge ourselves to joining the transformation zone. This is the Transformation Project, and we're working with my colleague and friend, Joe Pine, who is writing what we hope will be one of the books on transformation. And so we are working together, and we're bringing together a number of people who will be able to not only read the book eventually, but they will actually be contributors to it, because what Joe wants to do is not only write a book that is for an audience. He wants to write a book that was created by the audience. And that will be something new, maybe something that will actually transform the entire way we write and publish books. And I think that would be a very good idea, don't you? Well, what we do on Transformation Friday, or on this Transformation Day, we want to talk to people who are thoughtful about that. They think about it. They have ideas about it. They may even have some tips and strategies and ideas about how we could begin to live a transformed life. And so that's why we encourage you to reach out, because this stuff matters. There are a lot of things that are not going well, not going right, not going as they should. And we are beginning to discover maybe it's not the tweaking and the turning and the changing we have to do. Maybe from deep inside and bringing brand new things into the inside from the outside. And as we're discovering, giving some things up. As one of my friends said to me, it's an old cowboy world if you want to be transformed. You have to come out with your hands up. You have to surrender things. You have to give up things. And I think that's a little bit about what we're talking about today. So let's talk about maybe an idea that could be transforming. And of course, that was kind of the catch, the clickbait title. You're 20 minutes closer to being dead. Now, I'm in my gold. This is actually a dark blue, but it probably comes across as black, but that's the deal. I wore my Rotary colors because I spoke to the Rotary Club today here in Cary. And what the project was is I'm encouraging people in the service clubs, the Lions, the Rotary, the Kiwanis. I don't want to leave any of them out. That each of their clubs should try to create a podcast as a way of, keeping in contact with one another. Most importantly, telling stories to one another, and as a way to serve and recruit others. And one of the ideas I came up with is I said, wouldn't it be nice if maybe every Rotary Club had a podcast? But at the end of the program, they said, Stan, we're giving a book in your name to one of the schools that we help support. And I said, well, that's good. I'm so glad you didn't give me anything. I don't need anything. But that's great. What a great idea. Instead of giving me another coffee mug, you're giving a book for kids. And then it hit me. Wouldn't it be nice maybe if these schools, and many of them are schools that have a lot of underprivileged children, that we would actually teach them how to enjoy expressing themselves, maybe having a little radio program that they could put on and share with others. Now, I had a little experience with that many years ago. I helped put together they were trying to do it. It got sideways in ways, but the town that I lived in was one of those very nice retirement villages, but it was actually right next to a rather modest place where there were a number of needy and people who could certainly use assistance. And we were very much involved in some of those projects to help them. The local thrift shop was really well done. Lots of people donated very good stuff to it, and all the proceeds, went to the schools and other of the organizations trying to serve the people who were not using the word less fortunate, but those who could use our services. That really is sharing. That is equity. And so I actually gave some instruction to some of the young kids about how to be on the radio, because maybe they would be on the radio. I have never seen such excitement in teaching them, how to use their microphone and what they could do. And the thought of being on the radio, wow, they were wide-eyed and eager that they could learn how to be on the radio. So I'm suggesting that, every Rotary has a club. Every school has somebody in the school that sponsors a podcast so that the children can not only learn, what could be something they're excited about, but how to express themselves and how to handle themselves, how to speak, how to perform. Wouldn't that be a great idea? Maybe that could be a little transformation talk. Well, that's what I did. And I used a little bit of what I'm going to tell you today toward the end. Is one of the persons that changed some of my thinking was a Catholic philosopher by the name of Teilhard de Chardin, 19th, early 20th century. And he was a thinker and a philosopher, and very much was showing people how even the evolutionary process was very much maybe a God-ordained thing. Very bright. And he had this very fascinating statement, which I have quoted many times. He said, what we have to understand is that we are not human beings who are maybe having kind of a spiritual experience from time to time. We are not human beings who, can be spiritual. He said, no, that's not the deal. That's not the way it is. He said, what we are is we are primarily spiritual beings who are right now just having a human experience. So in the essence of who we are, we're spiritual beings who are having maybe a temporary human experience. And a lot of, oh, yeah, okay. Well, if you think about it, if you really take that seriously, that can change a lot of things about how we do life, how we do business, how we do everything. And I heard an interesting story, so I hope it's true because it was told to me by a wonderful priest, so I will do, but it makes sense. He said, part of what influenced Teilhard de Chardin was that in the place in France where he lived, the small village, for some reason, had a custom of young boys, they just let their hair grow long, oftentimes until they were maybe 4 or 5 years of age. I don't know the reason for that, but there are different customs and traditions. And he related the story that what really caught him is that finally his mother, it was time for him to get his hair cut. He kind of going from a little boy maybe to on the way to being a young man. And while he was doing that, his mother was cutting his hair, and it fell down and it landed near the fireplace where it was hot and warm. And all of a sudden, the hair just, it wasn't serious, but it flashed and burned up. His hair was gone. And that was the thought that influenced him later in life, that, you know what? That's what life is like. Everything will eventually pass away. Everything will be gone. Um, Nothing here will last. Um, of people, of things we do, of things we build, everything eventually will go away. It's temporary. Now, maybe that is part of what he meant when he finally said, well, yeah, then obviously, since everything will pass away, everything will burn up like my hair did in the fireplace. Maybe I should find out what might be truly real, if anything, and give some of my time and attention to that. Well, it's a great story. As I said, I think it's true. I hope it's true because whether it's real or not, it's true. Now, did you catch that? Whether it's a real story or not, it's a true story. And a lot of stories can be true, but maybe not real. And some people challenge me on that. And I oftentimes point out that the stories of Jesus were called parables. And one person said to me, I said, have you heard the story? What my favorite Jesus story is the prodigal son. And it's a once upon a time story. And I said, was the prodigal son a real story or a true story? Well, and they said, well, what do you mean? I said, but he said it was a parable. So maybe it was just a story. So maybe it wasn't a real story, but oh my, it certainly was a true story. I have a friend who we do a lot of work with, Russell True, who's a rancher and a podcaster. And I love to tease him, and he is a wonderful cowboy storyteller. And of course, I say, well, not all of Russell's cowboy stories might be real, but they're all true. Could it be that one of the things we need to understand is that transformation takes place when maybe that becomes real to us? As I pointed out, that what I've oftentimes learned and lived by, uh, I remember figuring out one time when I was working on the large radio station, I knew, um, I had a 2-hour program. It was called Night Call. It was late night call. And this was 500,000 watts, and there were 5 huge antennas, and the power to drive that radio station was enormous. And one time I sat down and did a little work and saying, well, I wonder how much it's costing the radio station and the people who support it for the 2 hours that I talk. And you know what? It came to a lot of money. So, oh my goodness, I wonder if I was worth it. And then I thought, well, there may be millions of people who are listening to it. That's very likely. And now, after each of my programs, they're 2 hours closer to being dead. Was it worthwhile? Was there anything there that was lasting or keeping? Now, I always said it's just a radio program, but in effect, as I shared with my friends at Rotary today, and most of them are people of age and stage, I said, I thank you because you gave me 20 minutes of your time, your precious time. We're all 20 minutes closer to being dead. And I trusted it was worthwhile. I think sometimes when we begin to realize that everything is like the little boy's hair that fell on the fireplace, it will pass away, quickly burn away, and that we need to really decide what are the things that we are doing that may have some lasting significance. They actually do last, maybe not forever, but for a long time. And maybe after we're past, they're still going on. They still matter, at least for a while. Thank you for listening. Yep, we're 20 minutes closer to being dead. I just ask you to, as you go about your life next week, and as you perhaps want to join us in the transformation zone, which is a group of Mr. T, Ms. T, T people who want to make transformations in their own life and perhaps transformations in the world and transformations in their world, and be a guide and a help to significant, well-meaning, beautiful, bold, brave, bright transformations. Maybe you'll be led to say, hey, I'm in. I want to do that. I want to live at least a little bit differently so that, yeah, the stuff I do matters. It makes a difference. It's important. Uh, it might even change the world. Best and blessings to you on your transformation journey into welcome to the transformation zone. The transformation zone. And you're going to join the zone. Thank you. Take care. Blessings on your weekend. Till next time. Bye for now.